Welcome to Survey of the New Testament at Louisiana College. My name is Dr. Del Rio, and I'll be serving as the adjunct professor for this course this semester. And this video serves as an introductory video to the class. It helps me to accomplish a couple of things. One, to introduce myself, even if by way of video. I find that sometimes when we can put a name to a face, it helps us with the communication process, helps us to learn in class together. And number two, this video also helped me to walk through the course for you help you get acclimated to the structure and format of the course. I'm going to do that mostly by walking through the syllabus with you. So if you have the syllabus, hopefully you do. I sent it out in an email. You might help if you had that pulled up on your computer, or if you printed it up, have it out in front of you, as I'll be making reference to it several times. Now, if you don't have the syllabus, you can get that. You can download it directly from the class portal. So you go into the Louisiana College class portal and go into the Survey of the New Testament class, and you'll notice a blue column on the left-hand side. Look under Resources. Click on Resources, and in the Resources section, you'll see there the syllabus is one of those handouts that's listed for you, so you can download that PDF and follow along as we go through this video. So now that we have the syllabus out in front of you, as I said, this is a survey, as the title says, rather, of the class. This is a survey of the New Testament. As a survey, that means that we'll be sort of going over the entire New Testament, but not at a really deep level. We will be looking at each of the 27 books of the New Testament, but only briefly, which means we won't take deep dives into the books. We'll just sort of gloss over each one of them. The course is really designed to give you a familiarity with the New Testament as a whole. As you see in the course outcomes there on page 1 of your syllabus, it's designed to help you recognize the overall historical structure of the New Testament. What's the story? What's the New Testament talking about? What are the various types of literature of the New Testament? There are a number of different kinds, like the Gospels, you get narrative in the Gospels, and Acts, you get letters and that some of the apostles will write, like Romans or Galatians or 1 Peter, and even books like Revelation contain prophecy. So this course helps you to get familiar with the various types of literature, with the various history of the New Testament, and some of the major themes. Now you'll notice as we go through this semester that as a professor, I'm not one that spends a great deal of emphasis on dates. Even in quizzes and tests, I won't really ask a lot, if any, questions about dates. Instead, as you see in the outcomes there, we're mostly focusing on the major people, the major events of the New Testament era, and the literature itself. I want you to come away from this class with an overall understanding of what the New Testament is all about, and understand the major players, major historical figures, and the major events that the New Testament is making reference to. So that's the nature of the course as a whole. Now, there are 2 textbooks. You'll see them listed at the bottom of page 1. One of your textbooks is just the New Testament itself, the Bible. So whatever version of the Bible you're most comfortable with, go with that version. If you don't have one already, you're perfectly welcome to go out and buy one, but you don't have to. I know a lot of people read their Bibles now on apps. There's a ton of free apps out there. You can read the Bible for free on an app. Feel free to do whatever works best with you. But the main textbook for this course is this, The New Testament in Antiquity, by 3 authors, Burge, Cowick, and Green. Okay, so this is what it kind of looks like. Sometimes I think different editions may look slightly different, but that's the textbooks for the course. So one major textbook, and that's it. Now, if you scroll down to page 2, you'll see where it says section 5 of your syllabus, the grades. Your overall grade for this class basically comes from 4 different areas. You get New Testament reading quizzes, discussion board participation, or in Louisiana College portal courses, they're called discussion forums. So discussion forum participation, and 2 major exams, a midterm and a final exam. The New Testament reading is made up of not textbook reading, but the reading from the New Testament itself. Now, and you'll see there under evaluation, different percentages are given to different parts of that. Now, let me just walk through the format of the class, and I'll have a little something to say about the various assignments like quizzes, exams, and discussion forums. So if you scroll down to the bottom of page 2, you'll see assignments. The entire course is broken up into 6 units plus a midterm and a final exam. These 6 units are content units. If you're taking this class during the fall or the spring, those units are each going to be scheduled for 2-week increments. So you'll have 2 weeks to complete each content unit, 2 weeks for the midterm, 2 weeks for the final. If you're taking this class during the summer semester, all the content is the same. It's just squeezed down into a half the time period to an 8-week format. In which each unit is basically a week. So if you have the summer, each unit's a week. If you're doing spring or fall, each unit is a 2-week period. So the entire class is structured around these 6 content units with the final and midterm and final exam. Now look down in there and you'll see I've organized along those in that grid there, that chart, by unit. Now look down at Unit 1 and I'll walk you through how they look. So in Unit 1, and you'll notice it says New Testament background, then in parentheses it'll give you the dates of that unit that should be working on that unit, and those dates are going to vary with your semester. They're going to correspond to your semester, so there'll be dates for that unit listed there. And then you'll notice I've given some bullet points. You'll get read chapters 1 through 4. There's quizzes on each chapter, and then you'll see New Testament reading. So for Unit 1, you have Matthew and Mark, for example, and then also discussion forums. And also there are videos to watch. And if you have an updated syllabus, some of you may have an older syllabus. If you have an updated syllabus, it should also bullet point in there, watch videos. Okay, so you start by reading the chapters in your New Testament textbook that are assigned there. So this Unit 1 is chapters 1 through 4. Then you watch the videos corresponding to those chapters. Now the way you access the videos are done by the authors of your textbook, and they're really good short videos on various subjects from those chapters. Now the way you access them is in that blue column on the left hand side of your portal screen, the main menu column. You'll see resources. Click on resources, scroll down about halfway down the page, you'll see it says bookmarks, and then you'll see all the videos are bookmarked for you there by unit. Now the videos are all on YouTube, but what I've done there is I've organized them nice and neat for you so you can access them all by way of these bookmarks. So you'll notice there for chapter 1 there's a video, for chapter 2 there's a video, for chapter 3 there are actually 2 videos. All these videos are short little snippets ranging from 3 minutes to sometimes up to 10 minutes on various subjects for that chapter. And so I encourage you, watch those videos along with the reading. It's going to help you kind of process the information that you're reading. They're really good little insights directly from the authors of your textbook. So you'll watch the videos, then you'll take the online quiz. Let me make a point about online quizzes. Quizzes and exams, everything in this course is online. So it's all done through the portal. There is no classroom. You're not going to go to a classroom and take a quiz. They're all taken through the portal. Sometimes I have students that are a little confused by that. They know they're taking an online class, but they think I have a campus or an office on campus. I'm actually, as an adjunct professor, I'm a remote professor. I don't even live in the state of Louisiana. I live in the state of Florida. So you access everything, including the quizzes and the exams, through the classroom portal. And your quizzes all quizzes and exam are closed book, and they are timed. So your quizzes are 15 minutes. I think you'll get an email on this, but I think the exams are an hour or an hour and a half. But I'll clarify that on an email that I send out with each unit. And you access them through, again, in your portal. You go to that blue menu on the left-hand side, and you'll see where it says coursework. Click on that, and then all the unit coursework will come up there. Now, if you're doing this right now, you'll notice that if you're doing this on day 1 of the course, you'll just see Unit 1. I release the units as we go through them each week or every 2 weeks, depending on what semester you're in. So as the units are scheduled, I'll make them available. So you'll only see the unit that you're in that week, that you're supposed to be in. Now, if you need early access to a unit. Sometimes I get a student who says, I'm going to be out of town that week, or perhaps I'm at a conference or some type of ministry thing, event. just let me know, email me, and I can give you early access to units where you can start some of the pre-work and sort of work around that stuff. Just all you have to do is shoot me an email and let me know. I'll be happy to make that, to work around your schedule and make some of that available. But you're usually going to see just the unit that you're kind of involved with, or the most recent unit that's being assigned. So you'll see Unit 1 there, and you'll see the reading quiz. That's where the reading quiz is accessed. Again, reading quizzes range usually about 12 questions, and I often have students ask me, do I have to study for the quizzes? And I always say no. I mean, it doesn't hurt to study ever, but the quizzes are not designed they're not really all that intensive or detailed. The questions are not very detailed. The quizzes are really designed as a bit of accountability for your reading. So they usually average about 10 questions or so, and they're all true, false, or multiple choice, and they're usually very surface level reading. I tell students, if you just read the textbook material, you should do fine on the quizzes. I find that most students who read the textbook material get A's and B's on the quizzes because they're just general reading kinds of questions. I don't ask detailed information from the quizzes. And every single quiz has one question that's worth about 50 or 60 points of the total quiz, or 50 or 60% of the total quiz grade. And the question will always say, well, I think it reads something like, I read at least 95% of my assigned textbook reading for this unit. And if you can click true, in other words, you've done the reading, you're going to get 50 to 60% of that quiz grade right off the bat. So I encourage you, do the reading, then just go on into coursework, click where it says reading quiz, and take that quiz. Also, watch the videos alongside your reading. So when you're reading in Chapter 1, you'll notice in Coursework Unit 1, there's a Chapter 1 video that says Study in the New Testament. Watch that short video in conjunction with the reading. It'll help you understand. Then in each unit, you have discussion forums. Okay, and you'll notice in Unit 1, you have initial thoughts, you have Study in the New Testament, and New Testament background reflections. So the way you access those discussion forums is, again, in the blue column on the left side of your screen, click Discussion Forum, and then when you click that, you scroll down a little bit, and you'll see all the forum topics listed there. And so for Unit 1, you have 3 listed there, plus general thoughts and questions, which is always optional. Every unit will have a thread that says general thoughts and questions. You aren't required to post anything in there. I just make that available in case you have just any kind of general questions you want to ask me or sort of pose to the class. That's a good place to do it. Now, the way the discussion forum board works is you get an assigned you have in each unit question. So for example, under initial thoughts, you click on that and you'll have a question that I posted there. Every student is required to post an initial answer to my threaded question plus 2 replies per threaded question. So for each threaded question, you should have at least 3 posts. That's a minimum, 3 posts. One's your initial answer to my question, and then 2 replies. It could be a reply to a student. It could be a reply to something I might add in there. I do read all the discussion board posts. I don't always reply to all of them, but I will often jump in and make comments, make my own statements, or actually sometimes respond to a student. You can respond to something I might say or reflect on something I might say. So 2 responses, either to myself or a student, is required for each threaded question. Now, I have students often ask me, well, what's the requirement for my initial answer to a threaded question? Think of it like an essay. You need at least a paragraph or 2, really, to sufficiently, to get a good grade on the discussion forum. You need at least a paragraph or 2. Try to interact with the question in the textbook material. So I'll always make reference, almost always I make reference to something your authors have said. Oftentimes I'll give you the page number. Interact with that. Answer the question. Interact with some of the things the professors, or the textbook authors will say. You should have at least a paragraph, if not 2 paragraphs in length to each of your initial questions. So for example, don't just say, well, I like what the authors said here. It made a lot of sense. Okay, that's okay, but you got to tell me why. What is it they said, and what is it you agree with, and why you agree with it? Give some substantial, is the key idea, substantial thoughts and comments. Think of it like an essay. Now, the discussion forums, you got to take note and make sure to note that the due dates for the discussion forums will vary a little bit. So, for example, for your initial reply to my question, usually I set that due date several days prior to the final unit due date. The reason I do that is it forces the students to post something, giving a few days for all of you to reply to each other, since you all have to reply at least twice. Now, you don't have to reply twice to every student. You just have to reply twice within every given discussion unit. So you may have 10 students give answers. Well, if we have 10 students in the class, you'll have 10 initial posts to my question. You don't have to do 2 for every one of those 10. You just have to do 2 for the overall. So that's the way that works. So that's the structure of the class. You'll notice, again, in each unit, you'll have those in your syllabus. You'll see Unit 1, you have those bullet points. You just focus on doing those things for Unit 1 by the due date. And every week, or at the start of every unit, I send out a class email saying, today we're starting Unit 1, it's due on this day. You can also find the due dates in the course, in the coursework section. If you look at coursework section where all the assignments are listed by unit, it'll have due dates there as well. So take note of your due dates. The way the class works, we'll do Unit 1, 2, and 3, and then we'll get to the midterm, and then at the end of the semester, you'll have a final. And let me say something about the midterms and the finals. These are huge chunks of your final grade, and you do need to study for them. I have study guides for both of them, and you'll find them under the resource page in your blue menu. And my encouragement to you, my advice to students is, everybody's got their own study techniques. My advice is, take the study guide I've given you. When you open it up, you'll notice I tell you, out of chapter 1, know this. After chapter 2, know this. I've itemized and bullet pointed everything I want you to know in preparation for the midterm and for the final. So take that study guide. Answer every one of them. Whatever your study guide is, whatever, you write it down, you type it up, whatever your process is. Make your own study guide. Answer every one of those things I have in the study guide, and then study that and learn that, and you'll do fine on the midterm and final. I create the midterms and the final exams directly from the study guides. So everything that's on the final and the midterm will be on that study guide. So know the study guide, and you'll know the exams. So that's the overall structure of the course. It's, again, 6 content units, a midterm, and a final. Your entire grade comes from that and discussion board forums. So you read your Old Testament your New Testament books and textbook New Testament readings as I assign them in each unit. You do your discussion boards, you take your quizzes, you watch your videos, and then you prepare and take the midterm and final. That's the class. There are no papers in this class, no research papers or anything like that. The closest you get are the discussion forum essays. And remember, discussion forums are really the sort of substitute for classroom discussion. Think of them as classroom discussion. Interact with them. Check them often throughout that week, or if you're in a spring or fall semester, it's a 2-week time span per unit. Think of them as like social media or any kind of forum. Check them every few days, see if there's some new posts, and then interact with some of those that you might see, and that's how you ought to be participating in those discussion board forums. I do read them, and I do assign grades to each of your discussion board forums based on the amount of content you have, how well you interact, how well you answer the question, and how well you interacted with the textbook material in your question, or in your answer rather to my question. So again, that's the structure of the class by unit. You'll see on the front page of your syllabus, even though I'm not on campus, I try to be as accessible as possible to my students. So you'll see on the front page, the top of the syllabus, you'll see my email is there, my louisianacollege.edu email, and you'll also see my cell phone. So if you have any questions at all throughout the semester, don't hesitate to call me. Don't hesitate to send me an email, and I try to have about at least a 24-hour or so turnaround when I try to get back into contact with you as soon as I can. I've even, in the past, I've had students who are reading something in a textbook and they're interested, they want to talk about it with me. I've even done video chats with students on occasion through Facebook or FaceTime or some other video format, chat format. So if that helps you in your learning process, you say, hey, can we discuss this issue or that issue, or you need help in preparing for the midterm or final exam, and you feel free to call me or set up an appointment to do a video chat, and I'm more than happy to set that up and do that with you. So again, this is a New Testament survey, and I'm looking forward to spending the semester learning the New Testament with you.